London's historic Evening Standard newspaper plans to revive acerbic art critic Brian Sewell in AI form, as it stops daily presses and fires journalists. London's historic Evening Standard newspaper plans to revive acerbic art critic Brian Sewell in AI form, as it stops daily presses and fires journalists. Avatar director James Cameron joins Stability AI board of directors, says he wants to incorporate AI into VFX industry. Over 100 companies sign EU AI-pact pledges to drive trustworthy and safe AI development. Mark Zuckerberg says Europe needs more consistent AI regulation, and even his privacy nemesis agrees. Google complains to EU over Microsoft cloud practices. OpenAI training data to be inspected in authors' copyright cases. Blackstone confirms $13 billion investment in Britain for AI data center. Churchill's Monet restored after many years of cigar smoke, and goes on show in court-old blockbuster. Joaquin Phoenix sparks Hollywood outrage after dropping out of movie last minute. Producers discuss lawsuit. Recently James McAvoy claims Joaquin Phoenix dropped out of thriller Split 2 weeks before filming. Disney officially launches password-sharing crackdown, with paid sharing program. Winamp releases source code, asks for help modernizing the player. Mozilla accused of tracking users in Firefox without consent. Meta's Llama 3.2 launches with vision to rival OpenAI, Anthropic. Mark Zuckerberg says there's no causal connection between social media and teen mental health. X releases its first transparency report since Elon Musk's takeover, and reportedly, Musk decries government censorship. His X has been more compliant. Study claims bigger AI chatbots more inclined to spew nonsense. Meta unveils Orion AR glasses with cheaper Quest headset and AI upgrades. Google Photos rolling out video editor redesign with AI presets. AI-generated malware found in the wild. Researchers develop AI that can beat CAPTCHA tests 100% of the time. In the U.S., deepfake caller poses as Ukrainian official in exchange with key senator. MoneyGram goes offline as it investigates cybersecurity problem. Caroline Ellison, FTX founder's former girlfriend and key witness in his fraud trial, sentenced to 2 years in prison. Google's shift to Rust programming cuts Android memory vulnerabilities by 52%. LG TVs start showing ads on screensavers. Axios reports that Coke's equity company eyes Forbes deal. U.S. investigating SAP Carahsoft for possible price fixing. FBI probing Silicon Valley Venture Capital Fund for passing trade secrets to China, claimed in a report. Dozens of Fortune 100 companies have unwittingly hired North Korean IT workers, according to report. Trump praises Russia's military record in argument to stop funding Ukraine's fight. Russia revisits nuclear doctrine to allow attacks on non-nuclear states in response to Western weapons in Ukraine. Reuters reports that Russia has secret war drones project in China, Intel sources say. Microsoft's new AI tool wants to find and fix AI-generated text that's factually wrong, as Microsoft claims its new tool can correct AI hallucinations, but experts advise caution. Weekly London Standard launches with AI of Keir Starmer front page. Hacker plants false memories in ChatGPT to steal user data in perpetuity. Biden insists he would have beaten Trump in 2024 election, and Joe Biden says he delegated everything to Kamala Harris, foreign policy to domestic policy. Harris leads Trump among young voters, but falls short of Biden's 2020 winning margin. Eric Adams becomes first sitting NYC mayor indicted in historic federal probe, claims federal authorities persecuting him over migrant crisis. David Banks, New York City schools chancellor, to resign. Hezbollah asked Iran to attack Israel, Israeli and Western officials say. Reuters reports that Iran brokering talks to send advanced Russian missiles to Yemen's Houthis, sources say. China-linked hackers breach U.S. internet providers in new Salt Typhoon cyber attack. Armed man claims he came within feet of Obama outside LA restaurant. Trump briefed by intelligence officials about ongoing Iranian threats to assassinate him, campaign says. Secret Service agent under investigation for alleged sex assault on Harris aide. Congress passes bill to avert a shutdown before the election, sending it to Biden. Democrats introduce Obamacare tax credit extension bill, setting up fight with GOP. Florida bans instruction on contraception and consent in sex ed classes. FBI reports increase in anti-LGBTQ hate crimes. Nancy Pelosi's husband sold more than $500,000 worth of Visa stock, just weeks before DOJ's antitrust lawsuit. Precious genius Elon Musk love bombs beautiful Giorgia Meloni at Think Tank Awards, and Elon Musk denies romantic relationship with Giorgia Meloni, after Italian PM calls him precious genius. PayPal enables business accounts to buy, hold and sell cryptocurrency, except New York State. Musk says doomed humanity will never reach Mars if Harris becomes president. Trump promises immigrants he wants to deport will get serial numbers. Mark Robinson decries lies about porn site posts, then says they possibly happened. And Trump withdraws support. GOP pulls funding from Black Nazi Mark Robinson. Russia's global chess ban upheld. Move hailed as a victory for Ukraine by FIDE. Vince McMahon slams Netflix doc Mr. McMahon as deceptive. A lot has been misrepresented to leave viewers intentionally confused. In Brazil, athletes involved in betting will lose government grants. Ukraine was first to implement drone swarm technology and attack more than 200 targets in Russia in a year, as announced by Defense Minister Umerov. Ukrainian troops detect 12,000 targets weekly with help of AI, announced by Ukraine's defense ministry. Iran's president says we have never approved of Russian aggression against Ukrainian territory, as Iranian president says his country doesn't support Moscow, as Tehran allegedly transfers ballistic missiles to Russia. Broadway theaters to dim lights in memory of James Earl Jones. The Cure announced first new song in 16 years. Earl Jones. The Cure announced first new song in 16 years. Alone. Czech man arrested for deliberately smashing Ai Weiwei sculpture at Italy art show opening. Rockstar Games deduced heavily by players protesting new anti-cheat code. Sonic Central Stream announced offering sneak peek of Sonic in 2025. Valve reportedly working on ARM64 Proton compatibility layer for Linux gaming. Royal Canadian Navy requires its first new submarine to be delivered by the mid-2030s, as current Victoria-class submarine fleet is scheduled to be decommissioned then. Mainland China's Norinco unveils drone that can reach Taiwan and may outperform U.S. rival. Pentagon to spend $500 million on women's health research. In the UK, primary school free breakfast clubs to start in April next year. Restaurants Canada predicting severe consequences following changes to foreign workers policy. Revolut ventures into wealth management with new trading app across Europe. In the UK, royals costing taxpayer more than £500 million, new report says. Pew Research announces that Brazilians mostly optimistic about country's global standing ahead of G20 summit. Trump unveils $100 coins with his face on them after selling Bibles, sneakers. Ford patents drug detection system to protect consumers from planted drugs. China's car dealers struggle with $20 billion in losses amid price war. Make Chinese cars in Russia. Industry group urges manufacturers as import costs mount. In the UK, Rachel Reeves sets apart Labour's fiscal approach from the Tories and signals more borrowing. EU pledges to loan Ukraine up to $39 billion to help rebuild its economy and power grid. Major banks commit to triple global nuclear capacity by 2050. Japan destroyer inadvertently entered China waters, captain sacked. Russian warship fired at Norwegian fishing boat. A small Norwegian fishing boat confronted Russian warship during live shooting exercise. China threatens to detonate the relationship if Milei criticizes them at the UN. People's Bank of China will soon cut reserve requirement ratio by 50 base points, as China rolls out sweeping stimulus measures to buoy sagging economy. China's yuan gains ground after rate cuts. Exporters' US dollar exodus. FT comments as it's no longer glorious to get rich in China, it's dangerous. 100 years of rent control in Argentina. Argentina scrapped its rent controls. Reportedly, now the market is thriving. In the UK, landlords to be banned from renting out homes that are not energy efficient. HSBC hit by six-fold surge in Hong Kong property loan defaults. Commerzbank, UniCredit shares fall as Germany plans to keep 12% stake. Olaf Scholz says Germany opposes a Commerzbank takeover, as UniCredit boosts its stake in Commerzbank, applies to own up to 29.9% of the German bank. USA's Department of Justice to sue Visa over debit card market monopoly, Bloomberg News reports. Citigroup's China expansion plan delayed by U.S. regulators. Cloudflare launched a brand new easy button to block all AI bots. Apple Intelligence will take up an extra 4 gigabytes of iPhone storage. Snapchat taps Google's Gemini to power its chatbot's generative AI features. Google TV and Android TV OS see dramatic growth to 270 million devices, up 80% since 2023. Logitech has created a Stream Deck for Photoshop and Premiere Pro, as Logitech MX Creative Console is an Adobe-centric Loop Deck successor. Windows 11 is getting handoff feature that lets you resume work from phones to PCs, even from iPhones. Scammers promising romantic relationship with Brad Pitt con 2 women out of €325,000. Sweden says Iran was behind thousands of text messages to Swedes calling for revenge over 2023 Quran burnings. In the U.S. Secret Service, uniformed officer accidentally shoots himself while on duty. Scientists reveal the type of virtual backgrounds associated with Zoom fatigue. TikTok expands subscription feature to include non-live creators. Huawei announces 10,000 apps support HarmonyOS next, after blocking Android apps. Trump threatens John Deere with 200% tariffs if production moves to Mexico. J.D. Vance and Donald Trump told to stay away in Ohio newspaper. Janet Jackson fired manager who apologized for her Kamala Harris race comments, manager claims. TikTok removes Russian state media outlets RT and Sputnik, citing covert influence operations. Telegram will now hand over your phone number and IP if you're a criminal suspect. Kaspersky deletes itself, installs UltraAV antivirus without warning. 2 months ago, Kaspersky will shutter U.S. operations after software is banned by Commerce Department, citing risk. Iranian president says he does not want war with Israel, as Iran's president accuses Israel of seeking wider Mideast war and laying traps to lead Iran into it. Iraqi factions say ready to back Hezbollah in war with Israel. U.S. to send more troops after Israeli strikes kill nearly 500 in Lebanon. Netanyahu tells Lebanese to flee. Relations with Russia should be reconsidered after war in Ukraine, Macron says. Zelensky arrives in U.S. to discuss Ukraine's victory plan with Biden. Trump tells to Ukraine's president, Zelensky is greatest salesman, wants Democrats to win. Northrop Grumman and Lithuania to partner on ammo production for IFVs, the infantry fighting vehicles, as Lithuania partners with Northrop Grumman to produce medium-caliber ammunition. New satellite images reveal failed launch of Sarmat intercontinental ballistic missile used by Putin for intimidation, as Russia's test launch of ICBM, known as Satan II, appears to have failed. Zelensky says Trump doesn't know how to end war, and Vance is too radical. Lack of recognition for same-sex unions in Poland violates human rights, rules European Court. Russia and U.S. religious conservatives see common foe in Africa, the gay rights. Malaysian police rescue 187 more children, as sex abuse probe of Islamic group deepens. Syria's Bashar Assad appoints new cabinet with former foreign minister as new VP. Egypt delivers more weapons to Somalia amid rising tensions with Ethiopia. In Malaysia, viral video linked to Borneo secessionists sparks police investigation, as police investigating viral video of Malaysian flag being lowered in Australia. Helene forecast to rapidly intensify and hit Florida as a major hurricane, and Florida braces for potential heavy-hitting hurricane, threatening damaging winds and storm surge. India detects first case of fast-spreading monkeypox strain. Tablet use by young children is linked with more outbursts of anger and frustration, as children handed tablets early in life are angrier later on, research finds. Childhood ADHD and subthreshold symptoms are associated with cognitive functioning at age 40, announced in a cohort study on perinatal birth risks. Cryptocurrency trading causes lower quality of life and higher stress. Higher burden of comorbidity linked to worse clinical outcomes in multiple sclerosis. Research identifies nearly 200 potential breast carcinogens in food packaging materials. New progenitor cell type discovered, may aid in tissue repair and generation. IDF spokesman Haggari said, "Every house we attacked in Lebanon contained Hezbollah weapons." Hezbollah responds as Israeli raids kill 558. Netanyahu vows to change balance of power with Hezbollah as Israel unleashes heaviest strikes on Lebanon. Iran's guards ban communications devices after strike on Hezbollah, security officials say. Discord announces its own audio and video end-to-end encryption DAVE protocol. In Germany, coalition government wants random identity checks and searches almost everywhere. Japanese company develops glass antenna that turns windows into 5G base stations. New PondRAT malware, hidden in Python packages, targets software developers. Chinese hackers exploit geo-server flaw to target APAC nations with Eagle Door malware. Critical flaw in microchip ASF exposes IoT devices to remote code execution risk. Amazon forest loses area the size of Germany and France, fueling fires. Short corn could replace the towering cornfield steamrolled by a changing climate. 60% of Earth's food crops aren't being visited by enough pollinators. Constellation CEO says US should copy China to meet AI power use. AI will be more intelligent than humans in a few thousand days, says OpenAI CEO. India to get first national security semiconductor fabrication plant as part of collaboration with US. Russia produced most AI content to sway presidential vote, US intelligence official says. Murders down 11.6% in US as crime remains key election issue. Necro malware loader infects 11 million Androids via Google Play. US targets China's rare earths dominance with Mineral Security Finance Network. India's finished steel imports from China hit 7-year high in April through August, data shows. Samsung plans to invest $1.8 billion more in Vietnam for OLED manufacturing. California sues oil giant Exxon over global plastic pollution, as California accuses ExxonMobil of lying about plastics being recyclable. Johnson & Johnson announces that its subsidiary, Red River Talc LLC, has filed a voluntary prepackaged Chapter 11 case to resolve all current and future ovarian cancer talc claims. Octopuses recorded hunting with fish and punching those that don't cooperate. Blind cavefish grow bizarre taste buds on their face as they age. Observations confirm that early universe quasar neighborhoods are densely populated with companion galaxies. A court in Argentina orders the arrest of Venezuela's president and his right-hand man, as Argentine justice ordered the immediate arrest of Nicolas Maduro and Diosdado Cabello for serious crimes in Venezuela. Singapore former minister Iswaran convicted. Prosecution asks for 6 to 7 months jail. As hearing adjourns to October 3, Iswaran's lawyers seek 8 weeks. Former FTX executive Caroline Ellison faces sentencing. SBF's neurodivergence saw him misinterpreted at trial, doctors argue. OpenAI news account on X compromised, sends crypto posts. China's Leapmotor and Stellantis open orders in Europe for budget EVs, and Stellantis begins search for new CEO, lays out plan to improve U.S. business. SpaceX disputes $633,000 FAA fine, citing systematic challenges with agency. WordPress co-creator Matt Mullenweg calls WP Engine a cancer to WordPress and urges community to switch providers. NORAD detects 4 Russian military aircraft near Alaska after U.S. Army recently deployed soldiers to area. Reportedly, U.S. seeks control of Russian S-400s in exchange for Turkey's return to F-35 program, as Turkey nears deal to decommission S-400 air defenses and return to F-35 fighter program, claimed in reports. Russia will not resume nuclear test unless U.S. does, as announced by Deputy FM. AI-related cryptos lead altcoin surge. Bitcoin breakout nears with several catalysts in Q4, announced by analyst. Signum unit receives Liechtenstein license as a crypto asset service provider. Harris says her White House will invest in America's future, which includes digital assets, as Harris vows to aid AI, crypto sectors in pitch to NYC donors. JP Morgan's Onyx blockchain used for Siemens digital commercial paper settlement. Canada shifts focus from CBDCs to payments landscape. Spanish rights group Egida introduces alternative financing tool Sego Creative. At the 72nd San Sebastian Festival, hundreds of mysterious Nazca glyphs have just been revealed. European immigrants introduce farming to prehistoric North Africa, new research shows. Enigmatic archaeological site in Madagascar may have been built by people with Zoroastrian origins, research suggests. Studies confirm potential indicators of life on other planets can be created in a lab. Microgravity decreases heart rate and arterial pressure in humans. Sources of water and hydroxyl are widespread on the Moon. New analysis of MAPS finds. Icelandic architect proposes using lava as building material. Mysterious 8 billion euro LD deep space radio signal reaches Earth, reveals new study. European Space Agency confirms, ozone hole goes large again. Previously unknown Mozart music unearthed in German library. Reportedly, online poker is full of bots, allegedly used by the poker rooms themselves, as Bloomberg reports the Russian bot army conquered online poker. Netflix co-CEO Greg Peters says, the streamer wants Netflixify the NFL. Never say never to other sports rights. Quantum entanglement observed at Large Hadron Collider in historic breakthrough. Black hole blasts largest jet ever seen, at 23 million light-years long. As astronomers discover biggest ever seen black hole jets, which blast hot plasma well beyond their own host galaxy. Apple's former design maestro Johnny Ive confirms he's joined forces with OpenAI's Sam Altman for a new AI hardware project. X is reportedly now complying with orders from Brazil's Supreme Court. Chip giants TSMC and Samsung discuss building Middle Eastern megafactories. Law enforcement dismantles phishing platform iServer, used for unlocking stolen phones. Hacker behind Snowflake customer data breaches remains active. Interim NYPD commissioner says federal authorities seized materials from his homes, as feds execute search warrant on new NYPD commissioner, just over a week after he was appointed. UK risks falling behind in AI race if it does not invest in more data centers, says Google. Reuters reports that US to propose ban on Chinese software, hardware in connected vehicles. Hyundai electric vehicles to add North American charging standard. Perplexity partners with Nike Marriott on AI ads to challenge Google. Axios reports that half of U.S. states seek to crack down on AI in elections. Governor Newsom signs landmark bill to protect kids from social media addiction. Bans companies from sending notifications to users identified as minors between midnight and 6 a.m., or during the school day from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., unless parents give the okay. Tanzania's opposition leader Tundu Lissu arrested at his home, ahead of planned protests. New center-right government in France announced 2 months after divisive elections. In the U.S., Republican Congress Speaker Mike Johnson axes Trump-backed bill, linked to proof of citizenship for new voters. Janet Jackson reportedly apologizes to Kamala Harris, blames misinformation for comments. Recently, Janet Jackson echoes false claims that Kamala Harris is not black. Trump and Harris consider 60 Minutes interviews that would air on same day, claimed in a report. 2 days ago, Trump says it's too late after Harris agrees to October 23 debate on CNN. Conservatives may have to create a new party after the GOP became corrupted by Trump, Liz Cheney suggests. Trump says he doesn't see himself running in 2028 if he loses in November. Hezbollah hits back with rockets, as it declares an open-ended battle with Israel. Israel raids and shuts down Al Jazeera's bureau in West Bank, while live on air. Delta faces U.S. investigation, after flight passengers report bloody ears and noses. IBM quietly axing thousands of jobs, source says. Trump floats long-shot proposal for 10% cap on credit card rates. The Guardian reports, as revealed, Russia anticipated Kursk incursion months in advance, seized papers show. Russia redeploys 40,000 troops to Kursk Oblast as Kiev's incursion continues, Zelensky says. Ukraine reportedly uses triple-loaded Neptune missile to strike Russian ammunition depot in Tver region. North Korean missiles ICBMs air defenses destroyed in Russia blast, claimed in the report. EU Parliament passes resolution to remove all restrictions on Ukraine's strikes in Russia. Chechen warlord Ramzan Kadyrov says Elon Musk remotely disabled his Tesla Cybertruck. With "That's not manly," Chechen warlord claims Elon Musk disabled his Tesla. Putin tells Russians to take work breaks and make babies, and reportedly, Russian offices monitoring childbirth of employees after Vladimir Putin's call. A North Korean trash balloon hits a Seoul government compound again. Ukraine's gun-armed ground robot just cleared a Russian trench in Kursk. Army picks 2 companies to get small drones to brigade combat teams, as U.S. Army embraces Ukraine-style warfare, with new all-drone unit. U.S. deploys soldiers, rocket systems to Alaska Island as Russian military activity ramps up in region. EU chief travels to Kiev with promise of fresh energy funds to get Ukraine through winter. UN announces that Russian attacks on Ukraine energy set to push 500,000 people out of country. Ukraine bans official use of Telegram app over fears of Russian spying. Ukraine joins NATO drone countermeasures exercise for first time ever. Romania asks Ukraine to shoot down Russian drones breaching Romanian airspace. 2 weeks ago, NATO members Romania, Latvia accuse Russia of violating airspace with military drones. Putin says Russia is ramping up drone production tenfold. 28 years later, Danny Boyle's new zombie flick was shot on an iPhone 15. The Passion of the Christ sequel to begin filming in 2025, with Jim Caviezel returning as Jesus. YouTube plans major revamp of TV app after overtaking Netflix, streaming rivals. United Airlines says Taylor Swift concerts drove 25% uptick in demand. Metallica extends M72 World Tour, with 2025 North American dates with Pantera and Limp Bizkit. In South Africa, Parliament debates replacing TV license with household levy. As battling SABC seeks more state funding and household levy, MPs hear. Kamala Harris, Oprah Winfrey to host virtual event targeting battleground states. Harris says, "If somebody breaks into my house, they're getting shot" during event with Oprah. Teamsters Union says won't endorse Harris or Trump in U.S. election. CNN reports that North Carolina governor candidate Mark Robinson declared himself Black Nazi on porn site, and Mark Robinson vows to stay in NC governor's race following report he made inflammatory comments on a porn site. Trump-backed governor candidate denies Black Nazi post. Theater owners plan to spend $2.2 billion to modernize and upgrade moviegoing experience. Hallmark unveils 47 holiday films as part of 15th annual countdown to Christmas. Jennifer Lee steps down as Disney Animation's chief creative to make Frozen sequels. Most Canadians want fewer immigrants in 2025, as per Nano's survey. Student accused of terror plot in New York raised no red flags upon entry into Canada, records show 2 weeks ago. A Pakistani national charged for plotting terrorist attack in New York City in support of ISIS. Canada to cut study permits for international students by 35%. In Canada, Loblaws launches for-profit food bank. In Argentina, government responds to Aerolíneas union strikes with a sell-off threat. South Korea's local governments embrace the 4-days workweek. Nigel Farage to give up ownership of Reform UK. In Germany, 1 in 3 from police force reports racist comments from colleagues. Right-wing members of European Parliament unite to recognize González as Venezuelan president, weakening cordon sanitaire. The electronics company Sharp wants to sell cars, as Sharp and Foxconn's EV prototype shows new way of vehicle design. 2025 Jeep Wrangler V6 goes manual only, Gladiator goes hybrid. Ford boss warns Chinese EVs are an existential threat. The Guardian reports that far higher pesticide residues allowed on food since Brexit. Half of NHS maternity units slammed by CQC as inadequate or requires improvement. Cambridge Research asks UK government to reduce pint size of drinks as per study, 2/3 measure could boost English health. China rams Philippine ship while 60 minutes on board. It has been commented as South China Sea tensions could draw US in. Respected mathematician Kenji Fukaya leaves US to teach at China's Tsinghua University. Malaysia's king to seek funds for high-speed rail on China visit, sources say. Forced and child labor abuses found in 75% of lithium battery supply chains. It had been reported recently in Germany as Volkswagen could apparently lay off up to 30,000 employees, and Volkswagen denies report that it is mulling 30,000 job cuts. Redwood Materials signs deal to recycle BMW's EV batteries in the U.S. Poland waives flood victims housing loans for a year. Tusk jokes that Poles shouldn't panic if they see German soldiers helping out after floods. More than 250 people drown in Germany in first 7 months of 2024. Dutch bank ING to ditch climate laggards as clients. In the U.S., cops use AI-generated 14-year-old girl to lure sex criminals. Runway and Lionsgate are partnering to explore the use of AI in film production. OpenAI threatening to ban users for asking Strawberry about its reasoning. Global Vaccine Alliance Gavi to buy 500,000 doses of Mpox vaccine, as Bavarian gets order for 500,000 pox shots for Africa. Rwanda begins vaccinations against monkeypox, amid a call for more doses for Africa. Scientists identify new blood group after a 50-year mystery. Jewish Israeli charged with plotting assassinations of Netanyahu and key officials for Iran. Reportedly, Telegram channel of Didu secrets shut down shortly after publication of Israeli Ministry of Justice leak. Leaked documents reveal Israel's strategy to avoid U.S. foreign lobbying law, claimed in a report. 1 month ago, Haaretz commented as, after Iran steals sensitive Israeli data, Israel tries to censor the internet. 1 month ago it has been reported as, Iranian operatives have been posing as Israelis to try to recruit them, Shin Bet says. EU court confirms Qualcomm's antitrust fine, with minor reduction. Apple gets EU warning to open iOS to third-party connected devices, as EU Commission demands Apple to align interoperability with digital competition rules. Brazil threatens X with $900,000 daily fine for circumventing ban. It has been reported that X bypasses Brazil ban though software update. Mark Zuckerberg calls Meta the opposite of Apple and questions its product strategy. YouTube confirms it'll show ads when you pause videos. Apple poised to introduce self-developed 5G modem in iPhones by 2025. As iPad to debut Apple's new Wi-Fi chip in 2025, with iPhone SE launching 5G modem. iOS 18.1 to enable RCS for iPhone users in China. Disney to stop using Slack following hack that exposed company data. Tor says it's still safe amid reports of police de-anonymizing users. 2 weeks ago it has been reported as German police raid Tor linked group in bid to uncover Tor network users. macOS Sequoia update breaks networking for VPN, antivirus software. Microsoft releases a new Windows app called Windows App for running Windows apps. Real-time Linux is officially part of the kernel after decades of debate. Amazon launches AI selling assistant project Amelia to boost seller growth. Police say a pair took an NYC subway train on a joyride and crashed it. They have arrested one teen. Starmer's free tickets for Arsenal and Taylor Swift part of job, says Minister, and Keir Starmer's £35,000 in free tickets puts football regulator plans under scrutiny. Trump says he's been too busy to read Melania's forthcoming memoir, in which she attacks the FBI, questions the Secret Service, and defends her nude modeling work. Cabum to shut down Disney Mirrorverse after making $34 million in mobile revenue. Palworld maker vows to fight Nintendo lawsuit on behalf of fans and indie developers. 1 day ago, Nintendo sues Pokémon with Guns video game firm. Sabrina Carpenter announces Netflix holiday special. 23andMe faces NASDAQ delisting after its entire board resigns. Chipmaker Qualcomm lays off hundreds of workers in San Diego. Elon Musk officially moves X headquarters from California to Texas. Iranian hackers sent stolen Trump campaign info to Biden campaign associates, FBI says. Microsoft executive warns of election meddling in final 48 hours. FTC staff report finds large social media and video streaming companies have engaged in vast surveillance of users with lax privacy controls and inadequate safeguards for kids and teens. Massive China state IoT botnet, Raptor train went undetected for 4 years, and Chinese spies built massive botnet of IoT devices to target U.S.-Taiwan military. In the U.S. Justice Department disrupts vast Chinese hacking operation Flax Typhoon that infected consumer devices. Microsoft warns of new Inc. ransomware targeting U.S. healthcare sector. 20 killed. 450 wounded as Lebanon hit by second wave of Hezbollah device explosions. After blasts, Lebanon bans walkie-talkies and pagers from flights leaving Beirut. IDF hits more than 100 loaded Hezbollah launchers in series of major Lebanon strikes. As Israel attacks southern Lebanon, Hezbollah launches rockets at Israel. Nasrallah says device blasts could be seen as declaration of war, vows vengeance, and Nasrallah vows Israel will not be able to return residents to their homes in the north. Ukrainian parliament renames 327 towns to break away from the Soviet heritage. CERN prepares to expel Russian scientists, but won't completely cut ties. Study claims low cognitive ability intensifies the link between social media use and anti-immigrant attitudes. More than 95,000 Japanese aged over 100, most of them women. In the U.S., watchdog finds black girls face more frequent, severe discipline in school. Mexico president blames U.S. for cartel killings, as violence surges in Sinaloa after leaders arrested. Ammunition from India enters Ukraine, raising Russian ire. Wall Street Journal reports that Putin is under pressure to call up more troops for war of attrition. With an evil axis, JP Morgan CEO issues stark economic warning over Russia, Iran, North Korea. As Jamie Dimon says, an evil axis of countries are his top concern for the next 100 years. Widespread adoption fraud separated generations of Korean children from their families, AP finds. More than 3/4 of U.S. states have enacted laws to guide use of opioid litigation proceeds. Alaska man charged with threatening to assassinate 6 Supreme Court justices. German authorities shut down 47 crypto exchanges for money laundering links. In Germany, Commerzbank partners with Deutsche Börse Crypto Finance to offer crypto trading to corporate clients. Crypto exchange BingX hacked. On-chain data shows over $43 million drained. Federal Reserve signals end to inflation fight with a sizable half-point rate cut. As Fed slashes interest rates by a half-point, an aggressive start to its first easing campaign in 4 years. In the U.S., Federal Reserve forecasts lowering rates by another half-point before the year is out. Wall Street soars to records as Dow leaps 500 in a rate cut rally that swept the world. The Fed has poured rocket fuel on the red-hot AI trade. SEC drops Ethereum 2.0 investigation, and court dismisses Consensus lawsuit. 3 months ago, SEC charges Consensus Software for unregistered offers and sales of securities through its MetaMask staking service. 5 months ago, crypto firm Consensus sues U.S. SEC over Ethereum regulation. SEC seeks extension till February 2025 to produce documents in Coinbase case. Judge extends temporary restraining order against Biden's student debt forgiveness plan. 2 weeks ago, Republican-led U.S. states sue over new Biden student debt relief plan. In the U.S., Johnson under pressure after U.S. Congress fails to pass Republican funding plan, and Trump pushes shutdown. 2 days ago, Congress Republicans torpedoes Speaker Johnson's funding bill. In the U.S., Senator Warren says vote on marijuana banking bill could happen this year, blames Republicans for lack of progress, as reportedly, senators push to pass cannabis banking bill after marijuana rescheduling. NASA's Hidden Figures awarded Congressional Gold Medal for groundbreaking work. Space Perspective completes major uncrewed test flight of Neptune 2 years ago. Space Perspective unveils balloon-like spaceship for outer space tourism. Microsoft's struggling military AR headset gets boost from Oculus founder's latest venture, as Anduril collaborates with Microsoft to bring Lattice to the U.S. Army's IVAS program. Food fussiness, a largely genetic trait from toddlerhood to adolescence, study suggests, and picky eating is largely genetic and peaks at the age of 7, scientists say. Vegans' intake of protein and essential amino acids is adequate, but ultra-processed products are also needed. In the U.S., FDA sampling finds milk in 6.2% of dairy-free chocolate products. U.S. officials concede Gaza ceasefire out of reach for Biden. UN General Assembly overwhelmingly adopts historic text demanding Israel end its unlawful presence, policies in occupied Palestinian territory within 1 year. Israel offers to end war. Let Sinwar leave if all hostages freed at once. Gaza disarmed. Bild reports that Israel has been planning pager explosions in Lebanon for 15 years. Taiwan and Bulgaria deny links to exploding pagers in Lebanon. Norwegian tech guru, who accidentally helped Israel get their hands on pagers used to bomb Lebanon, went missing on day of the explosions. IDF Beirut strike set to kill top Hezbollah military chief, as fighting intensifies. Dutch prosecutors say man arrested after fatal stabbing is suspected of a terrorist motive. Major jihadist attack in Mali's capital killed more than 70, security source says. Sweden charges a woman with war crimes for allegedly torturing Yazidi women and children in Syria. Cuban president invited to next BRICS summit in Russia. Pakistan joins major Eurasian transport corridor passing through Uzbekistan, as Pakistan has joined the development of a new international transport corridor through Belarus, Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan and Pakistan to Indian Ocean ports. Departing NATO chief warns U.S. against isolationism. India to be third largest economy by 2030 to 31, and grow 6.7% per annum, as per S&P Global. Ukraine extends interest rate pause as inflation flares up. Wall Street Journal comments as, tech jobs have dried up and aren't coming back soon. Zack Snyder reveals first look at Netflix's Rebel Moon video game Bloodline. Flappy Bird's original creator says he has nothing to do with the new game, as Flappy Bird is back, relaunched on Telegram. Amazon joins Motion Picture Association as entertainment and tech converge. Wall Street Journal reports that Qualcomm approached Intel about a takeover in recent days. Apple's A16 chips now being manufactured in Arizona TSMC plant. Google Password Manager lets you store and sync your passkeys across Windows, macOS, Linux, and Android. Older Windows PCs can no longer play some DRM-protected content. Skywatcher and satellite tracker photographs U.S. Air Force's secret spaceplane in orbit. Second-generation Starlink satellites leak 30 times more radio interference, threatening astronomical observations, as Musk satellites are making it harder to study black holes. Comet of the century to light up the sky in October 2024. Powered by renewable energy, microbes turn CO2 into protein and vitamins. Your old-school friend's genes could be impacting your health, study finds. Reuters reports that Google offered to sell part of ad tech business, not enough for EU publishers. YouTube supercharges shorts with DeepMind's VO AI, with custom backgrounds, easy 6-second clips. Tumblr reports 350% user growth, following X's ban in Brazil. 3 Mile Island's nuclear plant to reopen, help power Microsoft's AI centers. UAE's AI firm G42 and NVIDIA to team up on climate tech. OpenAI to decide which backers to let into $6.5 billion funding. OpenAI expands O1 AI models to enterprise and education, competing directly with Anthropic. Amazon Ads launches a new AI video generator. China's Alibaba launches over 100 new open-source AI models, releases text-to-video generation tool. Secret Service report details communication failures preceding July assassination attempt on Trump. House unanimously votes to boost Secret Service protection for presidential and VP candidates. Snapchat reserves right to put AI-generated images of users' faces in My Selfie ads. The United Nations wants to treat AI with the same urgency as climate change. Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff says he uses ChatGPT as a therapist. Trump says that if he loses, the Jewish people would have a lot to do with it. Harris could win the presidency but lose the Senate, giving Republicans a veto over her agenda and judges. Scientific American magazine's comments as vote for Kamala Harris to support science, health, and the environment. The Guardian reports as former Trump advisors help to grow pro-Russia website that spreads misinformation. Russians at War finally shows in Toronto as a stand against that abuse, against those threats, that forced TIFF to halt screenings. Kremlin promotes Putin globally on YouTube. It blocks in Russia. Biden's arms transfers to Israel under internal investigation. Haaretz reports as an Israeli student worked for Iranian intelligence. Twitch introduces new depreciating strike program, and Twitch unveils brand customized Fortnite game World The Glitch, ahead of TwitchCon. Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos calls on competitors to release viewership numbers. Disney star seeks $940 million in damages from Z for not meeting ICC broadcasting rights payment deadlines. Hackers exploit default credentials in foundation software to breach construction firms. New Brazilian-linked Samba spy malware targets Italian users via phishing emails. Team TNT hackers attacking VPS servers running CentOS. China says carrier accused of entering Japanese waters was on routine training. France and Japan hold joint military exercises in signal to China, Russia. U.S. imposes sanctions targeting covert financial cooperation between Korea, Russia. 3,200 years old ancient Egyptian barracks contains sword inscribed with Ramesses II. Eyelash magnate Seidel Miller's art collection estimated to bring around $200 million at Sotheby's. Oceanic life found to be thriving thanks to Saharan dust blown from thousands of kilometers away. Scientists call for global action on microplastics, now found in more than 1,300 species. Research predicts rise in tropical hydraulic failure. Antarctica's Doomsday Glacier is set to retreat further and faster, scientists warn. Medieval DNA suggests Columbus didn't trigger syphilis epidemic in Europe. In the U.S., FTC sues 3 largest drug middlemen for allegedly inflating insulin prices. Reportedly, The Penguin is a violent Batman spin-off that deserves to sit next to The Sopranos in HBO's crime drama pantheon, as the Penguin showrunner on creating a Gotham show where you don't miss the Batman. X launches the beta version of its YouTube TV competitor. OceanGate wanted Titan sub-pilots to dive to Titanic after just 1 day's training, whistleblower reveals. JP Morgan, UBS join BIS, Bank for International Settlements blockchain-based plan to overhaul cross-border payments. Harvard students and alumni launch groundbreaking native Bitcoin blockchain project at Harvard Innovation Labs to tackle global debt crisis. Elon Musk didn't show up for testimony in a probe over his $44 billion Twitter takeover. Now the SEC wants sanctions. New York City sheriff under investigation as Adams' inner circle faces federal probes. Elon Musk steps up political giving with six-figure donation to U.S. Congress Republicans. U.S. Congress passes bill blocking Biden administration's attempt to require 2/3 of new cars to be electric within years. Labeling Trump's lies as disputed on X makes supporters believe them more, study finds. The most surprising new gun owners are U.S. liberals. Democratic senators urge FCC to pass AI political ads proposal, and broadcasters, cable companies urge FCC to nix the AI disclosure proposal. In Brazil, federal police will investigate who used X after blocking. Moraes finds X 5 million Brazilian reals for trick that circumvented social media block in Brazil. X indicates lawyers, and Moraes